Okay, folks, it's Darth checking in with you again. I just finished watching episode 4 of Amazon's Wheel of Time, and let's talk about it. No book spoilers here, we're just going to be talking about the show, okay? First off, holy shit. This episode was so much better than the first 3. Like, episode 1, I've talked about ad nauseum. I think episode 2 and even episode 3 got better. It just keeps getting better, people. This was phenomenal. There's so much here. There's so much setup. There's so much lore. There is so much world building happening that I'm glad that you show viewers who have not read the books are getting to see. You're getting an introduction into why the Wheel of Time is special in this episode. And that's really awesome, because we have moved away from generic, definitely. God, there's too much to talk about. I'm gonna have to rewatch this thing. I'm gonna have to do deep dives. I've got my whole content for the next week right here, basically, which is, because I already had a lot of stuff coming, but this is amazing. What do I need to hit on here? Obviously, if I'm working my way backwards here, that end bit with Nynaeve was great. This episode is called The Dragon Reborn, and I still don't feel confident that we know who it is from all this. Like, Nynaeve, amazing, it absolutely, it could be her, right? But then Matt's got the weird stuff going on. Maybe it's Matt. Perrin didn't do anything in this episode. If those two are red herrings, it could be Perrin. If not him, we know Egwene can channel. Can Egwene channel that strongly? And what about Rand? Rand's done nothing, but Rand's great, and he's got the red hair, and he kind of gives main character vibes. There's just... It is so hard to tell, and for those of you out here who are trying to learn brand new, you're trying to learn from nothing, y'all are going to have some really interesting conversations this week. I'm going to be delighted to watch them. I'm really interested in picking everyone's brain, seeing what they think, seeing where they're at, seeing if it's one of these characters. Hey, it could be none of them, right? Ooh, we don't know. The show could be throwing us for a real loop here. And honestly, with the divergence that's happened, it could be different from what it was in the books. That's not out of place, because, it's a different turning of the wheel, right? So there's so much setup, there's so much speculation here, but I just thought this was incredibly well done. I thought that the moments with Lan and Nynaeve talking to each other, with Perrin and Rhaena, with Aram and Egwene, I thought that Matt and Tom and Rand and Tom's conversations, all of those were really touching moments that also taught us something. Hearing about what happened to Tom's nephew Owen, and on the flip side of that, seeing why it's necessary for the Red Aja to try to, curtail these men who are going mad and prevent another breaking of the world. You got all that in this episode. I thought that this was probably, other than the first episode, all the cold opens have been really good, but I think this one with Galdean is up there. It's either this one or Nynaeve escaping the Trollocs. Well, I don't know though. The Aes Sedai with their hands cut off, getting burned, and meeting the White Cloaks. These cold opens are getting real good, people. Matt with the sickness that was growing from the ground in Shadar Logoth, because he took the dagger and the dagger's corrupted, so he's getting corrupted. That's fascinating. I cannot wait to see where that goes. And of course, he sensed the Murdral. He sensed the fade, and Tom fought it like a badass, didn't he? This episode is great, people. This episode has what Wheel of Time fans are looking for in the Wheel of Time in it. A lot of humanity, a lot of characters, storytelling that feels like it naturally leads to the next place that we wind up. We're not just there in service of the plot, but because we flowed from one step to the next, and it just seems like what had to happen, right? It's the threads of the pattern being woven together to tell the story that the pattern tells. It's very cool. So I am just excited about this episode. I had a lot of fun with it, and I can't wait for the next one. I hope we get more Tom. God, we didn't see him die on screen, so I hope that there's more of that. But wow, there's a lot to unpack here, people. What else is there? There's more. I'm just gonna have to rewatch it. It's This was really cool. Oh, I will say, I thought that again some of these hand motions for like things looked a little weird, specifically for linking. Yeah, but overall channeling looked a lot cleaner this episode, and it was great to see the action here be a bit smoother, a bit more digestible than what we've gotten in some of those earlier episodes. Still do not know what's going on with these dream sequences. I'm here like the rest of you, figuring it out, and I'm fascinated, right? So, okay, folks, if you haven't read all of the books, this is the time to step away. That's the end of the review here. I will tell you, I'm going to be giving this episode an 8.5. Yeah, I thought this was a really, maybe a 9. I don't know, maybe a 9, maybe a 9. Really strong episode. I cannot wait for next week. If you've not read the books, step away now. You're still here. Okay, great. They are fucking with that that audience so much right now. They're showing us how strong Nynaeve is, which is badass. I like that they're both screwing with the audience who hasn't read the books, and giving a ton of nods to the book readers at the same time in this episode. The Brigitte doll excited me way more than it should have, but that's great. Talking about the way of the leaf and explaining that to the audience was awesome. They are, Tom had the monologue about thinking that Matt can channel and he sees the signs, and we got the Owen backstory, which was really cool. Karini, I don't remember how to say her name. The lady who died to Logain at the end of this episode, right before he got stilled. That is one of the Aes Sedai that heard Gaetera. She heard the prophecy about Rand being born, and the Black Aja killed her. So they reutilized or repurposed that character in this, which is nice, I think. I was just... Nynaeve got mad and used the one power when she was mad, and that's when Moraine realized how strong a channeler she was. That was awesome. And then using that as set up to, again, trick everybody on who the Dragon Reborn is. Amazing. Which, if you haven't read the books and you're still here, I'm not telling you who the Dragon Reborn is, people. You're just going to have to wait. You're going to have to see. This episode felt so much more like the Wheel of Time. I recognize there were some differences, but the show is hitting the right beats for me now. I'm really excited about this going forward. And, there were things that we all initially had qualms with in the intro, in getting us to a place where we could kind of settle into the journey that we know and love. And I can see that clearly they're still taking a different path to getting there, right? Maybe there's some unnecessary drama, like the thing with the axes exploding and hurting everybody, but it's consistently in the service of, don't know what that was on my phone. It's consistently in the service of showing us these characters that we took books to learn to love, and loving them immediately. Even Aram, it's, we're not being told that he's good and likable. We're being shown it instead of getting Perrin's perspective. So, very happy with this episode. Guys, I will see you next time. Hope you've had a happy Thanksgiving.